Testing. Hello, everyone. This is Atticus, and welcome. Today we have a best of three, and that I'm bringing you from the BunnyQueen's tournament hosted by MGL Amber. So she asked me to cast these games, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to have a tournament on the channel. So the three games here, I'm gonna have to split up into three different videos, just because my recording software kind of gets weird if I try to make long videos. But so we're just gonna go ahead and start here, and you can see that we have a dwarf versus dark elf game, and the opponent of the dwarf here brought a front line of 4 units of Corlers. Now Corlers are really good. They have a bronze shield, which is something I feel like a lot of people overlook. So it's gonna allow him to trade a lot more effectively with these dark shards and things like that. Now, one of the downside to Corlers is the line of sight issue. So, they can't shoot over units like Dark Shards, but still, they do a lot of good armor-piercing damage. For the Lord of the Dwarfs, he brought Ungrim Iron Fist, who is an anti-large beast. He has anti-large, armor-piercing, and he will just shred through any large targets. Also, the dwarf player here brought a Master Engineer, and the Master Engineer is really cool because he could give buffs to the Thunderers here, and you can see that he's put them in this bottom group right here, so he's going to be able to give them faster reload speed, more damage, and just increase the killing potential of these units. You can see the dwarf has also brought the Warriors of Dragonfire Past, and these guys are really good because they have fire attacks, as you can see right here. And fire attacks are really good against regenerating units. So, like if the Dark Elf player would have brought like a Hydra, these guys would, do extra damage to them, and they just have really good combat stats, as you can see. Also, he's brought in 1 unit of Giant Slayers here, probably to protect these guys from any cav or goon squads and things like that. And up here on the high ground, he has another 2 units of Thunderers, as I said before. But he also has the Norgrim's Ironbreakers, and these guys are impossible to kill. They are so freaking tough. As you can see right here, they have 86 melee defense, which is that's just crazy. I mean, that's higher than Sisters of Slaughter. Now, granted, they are Regents of Renown, but still, that's really hard to shoot through with their 125 armor. These guys are going to be fighting to the end, and they do have blasting charges. Also, he has 2 units of Slayers right here. And last but not least, he has a Gyro Bomber, and this is something you don't see a lot. But it's kind of hard to hit with these things since there's no hotkey for it. You have to manually aim. But if you're up to the task, this thing could do a lot of damage, especially if the enemy groups up. As for the Druchii player, as you guys can see here, we have good old Malekith on foot, and he is definitely a solid pick in this matchup because of his silver shield and his spells. And if it comes to a ground fight with Ungrim, he'll be able to hold his own. Now, one-on-one, I think Ungrim would win just because he has better he has the armor piercing and stuff like that. But Malekith, with the support of his spells, might be able to it'd be an interesting fight. I'd like to see that. So the Druchii player brought a front line of Bleak Swords, a couple chevrons, and this is really good to soak up any of the Thunderer fire and things like that. Also has 3 units of Dark Shards. Interestingly, he did not bring the shielded version, which you think that would be beneficial in this matchup. So he's trying it without the shields. So I'll be interested to see how that works for him. Also has a unit of Bleak Swords here in the back and 2 Hargadef Executioners, which will be the bread and butter, the real killing power of this Druchii army. Also has a Black Dragon right here. So let's go ahead and just start the battle here and watch how it goes. Oh, I forgot to mention he does have 1, 2, 3 units of Dark Riders with repeater crossbows. So this will be interesting, guys. These builds are definitely unconventional. It's something you don't really see a lot. And I'm really curious how this dwarf player is going to be able to. He vested really heavily with these Thunderers, but he only has a few units that are going to be protecting him. So we're going to see if his micro is able to deal with the overwhelming infantry of the Druchii. So right off the bat, we're just going to have both armies starting to get into position here. You can see that some of the Thunderers and the Dark Shards are all just moving to the front. You can also see that these Dark Riders are coming around the vanguard here, and it's just going to be some positioning. One thing I like about the dwarfs position right here, how he set up, is he has units on the high ground that could support those on the bottom. You can shoot down even though they can't really shoot up. So if anything does come into these guys, if they try to goon them for dragon, these guys can, in theory, protect them. So it'll be interesting. Alright, so right off the bat, we're going to see that the Thunderers are going to start shooting in. Hold on one second, the dog's barking. Let me close that door there. Alright, we are back. So let's go ahead and start that up. I apologize, guys. So, so you can see right now the Thunderers are shooting into these Dark Shards, and you can see the Dark Shards are just taking a whooping of a damage. You know, they don't have the shields, which is going to make it, really hard for them. Over here, you can see that the 2 repeater crossbows are shooting in to these Thunderers, but yeah, this is not a good engagement for them since they have the missile chance. Over here, you can see the Black Dragon's going to get a really good side attack into these Nungrum Iron Breakers, and it's going to do a lot of damage. Unfortunately for the Juki player, though, he's getting taking damage in return by these Thunderers, so it's a little bit of trade-off. You can see over here that the Gyro Bomber is looking for an opening, and it looks like these 2 repeater crossbows have pulled back. Over here, you can see that it looks like a spell is getting ready to be cast, a Doom Bolt, but yeah, the Dwarf player is wisely going to see it and pull away. And yeah, so now we're just having a trade-off. It looks like the 3 Dark Shards are shooting into the Nungrum Iron Breakers. These guys do have a silver shield, a bronze shield. Oh, wait a minute, I thought it was a silver shield. No, it is a bronze shield, so they have a 35% missile chance. Over here, you can see that Slayers are going to start charging in, trying to get into these I keep calling them Bleak Swords, into these Dark Shards, which is a risky play, since these guys, if he sends in these infantry, these Slayers are going to be in a real problem. You can see he is going to dive his dragon into 2 groups of Slayers, which is a pretty bold move, I must say. Let's look at if you look at the bottom ground, looks like he's going to take some of his repeater crossbows to try to reinforce. And you can see right now that the Slayers have collided now with the Bleak Swords and Hargadeth Executioners. We're going to get some blasting charges by the Nungrum's Iron Breakers. And yeah, these Slayers are just getting destroyed really quick. They're not really they're not meant to be trading with infantry. They're anti-large, but if anything, it might be buying him time to shoot with his Thunderers, who are getting into position. So if we go ahead and let's look at the pullback, you can see that the Gyro Bomber is getting into position here, and I apologize here. And you can see he's going to go for some really good bombing runs. It looks like over here. Looks like the Thunderers are going to get hit by a chill wind, and this is what is going to happen if the Giant Slayers... sorry guys, I apologize. The phone was ringing there for a second. Alright, so you can see that Malekith is going to start getting targeted by some of these Thunderers, but this is what we were waiting for, guys. This is what we wanted to see. The Gyro Bomber here has a juicy target, and let's see if he's able to drop some of these good bombs. So yeah, you can see that one really good bomb drop right here. It's going to do a lot of damage. A second one, he is going to retaliate with the Black Dragon, getting a nice breath weapon back into those guys. But yeah, you can see this Gyro Bomber is just whooping some of those bombs, doing some really good damage on these grouped up Druki, which is something he needs to do since these guys are, he lost all his Slayers, so his infantry is really outnumbered. You can see that the Dark Shards are going to start retaliating, shooting into that Gyro Bomber, trying to do some damage. And now this one unit of Warriors of Dragonfire Past are going to have to, are going to be the only thing keeping these Druki forces at bay. I do believe the Gyro Bomber has used up all his ammunition, so now he's just going to have to rely on the DPS that it can shoot. Over here you can see that Ungrum is dealing with a couple Bleak Swords. Malekith is trading with the Nungrum's Iron Breakers, but he has the support of these 3 Bleak Swords as well. Over here the Black Dragon is going to land into these Thunderers, but yeah, he's going to fall. He does route 1 before he dies, but yeah, the Black Dragon is out of commission. Over here you can see that Ungrum is, he's popped all his abilities, Deadly Onslaught, Red Ruin, Axe of Dorgo, but he is, completely outnumbered. Malekith over here is trading with the Master Engineer, but yeah, and he's also getting supported by these repeater crossbows, and Malekith is just going to spank the Master Engineer. He's a lot better of a combatant. So yeah, it's not looking too good for the dwarfs right now. You can see the balance of power is in the Dark Elf's favor. He does have this, 4 units of Thunderers, but the problem, well, he can shoot into the back, but line of sight can sometimes be an issue. But Ungrum is keeping these guys in place, allowing these guys to shoot him, and it's actually doing better than I would have thought it. He's actually able to route, looks like 2 different units. Over here you can see that Malekith has almost destroyed good old Master Engineer, and these units of the Druki units, these Hargadeth Executioners, are going to be chasing the Thunderers. Over here you can see he still has this nice contingent of Bleak Sword, or excuse me, I keep doing that, Dark Shards, who are, they're just supporting the Druki shooting into the back of Ungrum. And he still has this really dangerous cav force that could potentially run in here and shut down these Thunderers. So this is going to be the make or break decision right here, and you see he's going to get a nice chill win into these grouped up Thunderers. But yeah, Ungrim is trading with Harkonnens Executioners, and he's taking a lot of damage, especially with the support of all these Dark Shards. Balance of power is really in the Dark Elves' favor right now, and with Malekith coming in, I don't see Ungrim staying alive very much longer. So yeah, he's going to take a really good hit right there, and he should be breaking any second. And I think that is going to be a win for game one. It's going to be a win for the Dark Elves. So yeah, good game to the two opponents. We'll go ahead and look at the in-screen breakdown here. So if you look at the end screen here, Karga 11, it was definitely a unique build. It was a bold build. He did really good with the Gyro Bomber. It didn't do as many kills, but it did a lot of HP damage. The Thunderers were able to do a lot of damage. They were able to trade a lot more effectively with maybe the Dark Shards, but once the line of sight issue happened, that's where they kind of lost their effectiveness. And the Slayers, losing those early on, sending them into the infantry was a real mistake that kind of cost him, since he didn't have those units to protect him late game. But this build surprised me. It did a lot better than I thought it was, and it was something I've never really seen. As for the Dark Elf player, I mean, it was same thing. Like, I've never seen this build specifically with the Dark Shards without shields. But yeah, it worked. It was just really hard to. What am I trying to say? It was really hard for the dwarves to keep that much infantry at bay. So yeah, good game to Commandant, JJJ, and Karga 11. This is game one of the Bunny Queen tournament, guys, and stay tuned for the second one. So this is Atticus. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.